Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Chronicles. Hi guys.
That's right, and today we're here to talk about some civilian transportation in Picard.
We got a new civilian ship.
Love how that's a thing now.
Canadian TV made me sound ridiculous, and it's now a meme.
Right?
National TV saying that. I had no choice in the matter. They picked an edit. Anyway, so yeah, Stuart. Episode 2 of Picard, we were introduced to more of the world. It was less chateau-based. We got some Roman stuff. We got some... we even got an exterior of some new ships. We've talked about them, as you know, on the channel. Even the shuttle. Great, good stuff. But a subtle thing appeared in a shot. They go back to Daj's apartment, and just... out the window is a thing. And then at the end of the episode, when they go to meet Picard's ex-second-in-command, we get to see a civilian taxi, a future civilian taxi. You know, so they're both civilian craft, and let's look at them both today. So here they are, Stuart. You know about them, but just for the audience. So on the so just so everyone's clear, on the left is the civilian random ship, and on the right is the not Discovery shuttle taxi. Both in the same episode, and you can see also in the left view plenty of ships in the background moving that aren't the Discovery shuttle because they're different shapes.
And
Thoughts?
yet, in episode 1 of Picard, we see 2 Discovery shuttles in the street, acting like almost like civilian ships. So they don't even show this in the first episode. This is the second episode. So the first episode was all Discovery stuff. Now, yeah, it looks like there's another type of civilian craft, even similar to this one, in the distance coming down between the buildings. But this was nice to see something new that's not Discovery related, you know, because it's the future.
There's a couple of really, again, a lot of these things that we're seeing speak to the mentality behind the scenes, right? More than the fact that, we've got a thing. Because the fact is, this is the most expensive Star Trek show ever made. That's important to know. Yes, a lot was going on cast budget, but that was same for Discovery as well. A lot of that was going right there. This sequence, which, this exterior is all CG of the building. It's all, it's good. It's a good job. They did a good job. Although it kind of feels like the Orville a bit. And I remembered that in the shot 1 of Orville episode 1, here it is. And there's also a ship that comes in, and okay, it's not identical. In fact, that's actually more green and pleasant. But vibe-wise, I mean, I think you probably agree, very similar feeling future stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. Even though the Orville one seems more like the Jetsons kind of vibe. That kind of future tech. You could take this Picard ship and put it in the Orville, it'd be fine. I don't know if the Orville one would translate so well to the Picard era, like Star Trek world.
Because there was a craft there, and it's odd.
This one, I get a sense of like like your London taxis, the black ones, kind of a unique automobile. It's pretty much the only city that they have them in. That's the feel I get from this one, from Picard.
Which is funny, you say that, because you're saying taxi, and yet the taxi we get is just a repainted Discovery shuttle.
I know.
The irony of this statement, a very meta statement, wasn't it?
Well, this one has no markings on it, so I assume it's just owned by a civilian.
To me, it just looks like a space car, as simple as it is. And actually, it's a very passable space car. It's right on camera, so that this is like a hero shot almost. Like it was like the start of the shot, completely unnecessary. And then we get this Discovery shuttle taxi. Now, talk to us about that for a second. Although I think we up until the very last moment, we kept saying, even though all the people knew it wasn't, that these things, we saw in the trailer, this is a placeholder behind Picard. They don't want to reveal the ships. But what did you think of this then?
Oh, I was not impressed. And the fact that it has huge taxi written on the side of it. It's just like a repaint of the Discovery shuttle. Seemed odd. This was the one that Picard took to his former XO's Vasquez Rock's mobile home.
Yes.
I still don't understand why they're doing this, but I mean, it's fine. So we've seen these shuttles be shuttles, we've seen them be school buses, and we've seen them be taxis now. It's like the multi-purpose vehicle of Picard.
And as you said in episode 1, it was literally every single vehicle in every single scene.
Yeah.
And as we keep asking, why is this one version of a shuttle the one? Why are there no TOS shuttles? Why are there no TNG shuttles? I don't believe for 1 second that this one design is like the one that lasted all the eras, because we never saw it again, ever. And yet it's everywhere all the time. Like in Voyager, we see a shot of Starfleet Command, and there's a Type 9 flying through. You know, I mean, this, because the distance of this shot, they could have built a Type 9 for this distance in a day and a half. You know, it's easy. But what this really says, because we've obviously made this point before about the reuse of shuttles, and it's inexcusable, really. But often people would say, "Oh, it doesn't care, guys. Ran out of money," which again is depressing if they did the most expensive trek ever made, and they ran out of money, given how much Enterprise would build new ships every episode, and they never, they always managed to make room for new ships all the time. Like, their reuse quota was very small, actually, considering. But then that argument of ran out of money, but why then do we see this brand new shuttle, this car, in the Earth sequence, flying by camera as a hero shot? So why did they spend the money to build this thing for one shot, and once we leave Earth it'll never be used again, rather than a new Federation shuttlecraft which would be in multiple things? Like, now you can no longer use the argument of they ran out of money because there's this shuttle here, or there's this craft here. Now it's a choice, which is even worse than running out of money.
And it's kind of an odd choice, because I assume that once we get past episode 3, there's not going to be many more scenes on Earth, because he's leaving the planet. So, and why wasn't this used in episode 1, in that street scene where Dodge runs and calls her mother? So we get 2 Discovery shuttles. It makes no logical sense. It's almost like, this asset was, we got this asset, let's just throw it in here, and just this one scene.
Well, great. Then use it for the other sequences.
Exactly.
Because if this had big taxi painted side, you'd be like, oh, it's the quaint future car. It's a boring everything shuttle. But guess what? That's fine. Because it's more likely to me personally that the civilians would design a thing for civilians to use, and everyone use a 140-year-old Starfleet military-esque design.
Yeah.
With a warp drive. It's like all this waste. and considering how big it is, it's like it's massive and it's tactical or just build, they would design something maybe, maybe 100 years ago that might replace it for civilian use. Because what did Earth use before the Discovery Shuttle for all their shuttles? What did they use? NX shuttle pods for 99 years, and then as soon as this shuttle came around, everyone used that. I mean, it's just laughable. But you can no longer. I mean, there's ships in the background on this planet shot that are clearly not Discovery shuttles. Their shapes are different. Now, I think you're right. I think this was done by a separate company. They hired to do a few Earth shots because it has it's slightly differently lit than other shots. Like, it has a slightly different feel. Yeah. And they just threw one of their old assets in, and a lot of asset companies don't swap, they don't give things away, and so the main company Pixelmondo are probably doing these big shots, and they just hired a dude to do this, like a company did this one. But they did it. They thought, let's do this,
and I'm glad for that, because I like to see new stuff.
Or at least not reusing old stuff. See, it's funny, because now we should be seeing TOS shuttles flying around. They've now given us this expectation that shuttles last a billion years. Well, then put TOS shuttles flying around. Put TNG, put Star Trek 5. Like, if once you do it for one, they should all be in here now.
Yeah, and I would have no problem seeing a variety of shuttles being used. I would have no problem with that at all. But the fact that everyone that we've seen so far is Discovery.
See, if anything, that would be kind of a fun little homage to fans. That if every time we cut to a new scene, episode 1, every single shuttle from every single era, and we're like, why is there an X shuttle pod? Why, like, literally all of them, and so therefore it makes this point of everything is reused, which then gives them license to use Discovery stuff. Because now you've created the sense of, well, any shuttle can appear anywhere. Yeah, wow, a Type 9, wow, a Type 4, wow, a Defiant Shafi shuttle for some reason. A
Type F. I'd love to see a Type F TOS shuttle.
Wow, a TMP Type F. That's cool. Randomly, and then you get this big sense of, well, yeah, stuff evolved on the outer edges, but back home, they just kept using stuff. And then the school bus makes sense then, because you could say, well, yeah, the older it gets, the more baseline it becomes. It goes from being, shuttles that were used in Starfleet Command, shuttles that were used in the private sector, shuttles that were given to schools. Then you start creating the sense of down the line, but instead everything's, there are ways you could have made this work if you wanted to force it in, but just the fact there's these two things undermines the point of low budget and doubles down on the laziness. And just to see Patrick Stewart's Picard and a Discovery era shuttle, it's not even been kit bashed, it's just been repainted. Like, it's as lazy as you can possibly do. And it's just sad, because Treks have always been about being clever. And even if they were to kit bash, and like when we talked about the generation shuttle going in, it's like there's actually more changes than you'd think that changes the feel of it drastically. just swapping the paint, doesn't work. Because if they take the shuttle, right, cut like a bit in the middle off, shrunk it because TNG ones are smaller, swap the facade, made the nacelles have blue grills on the out and a big red facade, boom. Now you've got a modern refit version, and you can kit bash in literally a day. And I'd be like, oh, that's a bit weird, but okay.
Just talk about the other one for just a second. I think it's kind of a neat design. Very futuristic. Like, I don't want to say Jetsons because I said that with the Orville one. The Orville one feels more Jetsons-like. This one at least feels like a possible future car, minivan kind of thing. Yep. And I just wish we would have seen more of it. I guess that's the only thing. We've kind of been talking about that, but I like the design. I think it's neat. For a civilian craft, it's absolutely fantastic. It's like nothing we've really seen before for Trek. So I'm on board with it. I like it.
Yeah, it works just fine. I mean, it's simply effective, and it shows that in fact you can build a low poly model quickly, easily, efficiently that does the job, and it earns you credit, and it made the scene even cooler.
Or make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do love looking at ships and tech, and new stuff like this is really fun to see and point out to and share with you guys. Because you might have missed it. You might have been, reaching into your chip bag at the time. Got a drink of water. It's a quick scene, and I noticed it right away because I was looking for anything new, and it flew right by the camera, so it was great. But it was quite short. So,
and you might not have even realized it was CGI because it's actually rather well done. The lighting's good. The building texturing is beautiful on the front buildings. I mean, they get in close; it has to be better, but it's really well done. All credit for that sequence. It's well done.
Yeah. So comment below what you think of it. Do the things, the likes and the subscribes and the notifications, and just your job.
Yeah. Exactly. And join us for our Super Chat Lives. We do them every single week about lots of great topics, including, of course, our big Epic Friday review live. 2.5 to 3 hours of scene-by-scene analysis with 400, 500, 600 of you discussing it live in the chat. Great comments get read out and other bits and bobs. A lot of fun, a lot of great things, but we do them all throughout the week. And any amount of financial Super Chat donation, it's a classic thing that YouTubers ask for and get, and it helps support the channel. Or a one-time donation at trekyards.com, which is a PayPal link, or Patreon, which is a great way, and we hope that you do continue to support us because we literally could not keep going without the support of those guys or the YouTube Super Chat people. Like, we would go away quite quickly without that support because it takes money to do this sort of thing. But as long as we get the support, we want to keep doing it, and there's so many things to talk about. So thanks in advance.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Commander Kongs. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.